Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now a genre of product that I absolutely love to test on my channel, digital night vision. In this particular case here, the Nightiger NV610. Now at this point I have put these to use. I've tried them quite a bit and I do have to say overall a nice quality unit. It's really hard to tell how these are going to perform when you look at the online marketing, when you look at their ads. There's not a real good way to figure it out. The best way to figure out whether or not these work well, watch reviews or try them yourself. And in today's case, well, the NV610 definitely performing. Now, before we even start, what is different about these than the other units I've tested in the past? Pretty much one main thing. The fact of the matter is, it's an integrated and integral battery. That's the biggest difference. Other than that, pretty similar to a lot of the other units. And the other thing I'm going to say, definitely a difference between my user's experience while I'm looking through these and what you see from the recorded footage. So you need to keep that in mind throughout this review. My user's experience generally better than the footage that you see. So that is definitely, again, something to keep in mind. And so what we're going to do, we're going to go through this in detail, bust it out of the box, go through all the features, bring it out to the field, put it to practical use, then we'll come back to the studio and I'll give you my final thoughts. So with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Nightiger who did provide these for review. And so now the Nightiger NV610. This particular unit having a built-in lithium-ion battery. You can see here that as we go through all of the details, having the internal rechargeable battery is a nice feature, does leverage a USB Type-C charging cable, comes with your carrying case and all the little accessories that you're going to need. Now this does have a 6x digital magnification, 5x fixed optical magnification. So you do not have optical zoom on this particular unit, just the digital magnification. Your objective lens diameter 34 millimeters. This uses an 850 nanometer IR beam and has a maximum video resolution of 1080p on this particular unit. This does come with a memory card, which is very nice, and this gives you the ability to record photos and videos directly onto the unit. Now, the first thing I can say is your user's experience is vastly different from the recorded footage that you see, so please keep that in mind. As we go through all of the buttons, the middle button is your power button. On the top left-hand side, this increases your IR intensity. Middle button decreases your IR intensity. And the bottom button is the mode. On the right-hand side, the top button increases your zoom. Middle button decreases your zoom. And the bottom right-hand corner, that is your OK button. You will use these for multi-purposes depending on what you're trying to do. In the middle, this does allow you to turn the screen on and off. So as you single press the power button, it turns your LED screen on and off depending on what you're trying to do, and especially if you're trying to preserve your night vision. On the bottom left hand corner, if you long press the mode button, this does get into all of your menus. And again, as you work on the right hand side, pressing up and down does allow you to navigate the menu quite easily, leveraging the OK button on the right hand side to get into any one of these particular menus. Now as you work through all of this, again, pretty straightforward. You have the ability to set everything and get it prepared for field use the way you need. Again, not too much to it. But as we get started here with the field use, taking some photos right away, trying to leverage both the standard optical zoom and the digital zoom, doing a fairly nice job. You can pan between the different modes. You have color mode, you have your black and white mode, and then you have each of the IR settings, each having pros and cons, again, depending on what you're trying to do. But at this point, let's turn the corner. Let's get into some of the video footage. Now for the upcoming segment of this video, I did not notice this until I went to edit this particular video. So I had all my footage, had recorded everything, and now in the editing process came across this fact. So now as we get into the nighttime footage, you will see certain points in time when the footage is either lagging or freezes altogether. I can't say exactly why that's happening, but I do believe it's a possibility that the memory card that this does record onto is not necessarily fast enough for the video that it's trying to render. So keep that in mind as we go through the next segment of the video. And so now for some nighttime footage, leveraging the onboard microphone for all of this footage. So hopefully you can hear everything clearly. This is going to be a great test of this microphone. But as you take a look here, you can see getting pretty dark. Now this is without any infrared. This is only the color sensor. One of the downfalls with this particular unit is you do need to stop recording in order to zoom. So that's going to be the case for all zoom ranges. So here this is fully zoomed out. I'm looking at the side of a bridge at the railings. As we pan around, going down, looking at the abutment, and down to the reflection in the water. Taking my time to refine the focus, and I feel like it was pretty good in the first place. Panning around, you can see there's still enough light to pick up some detail, but it's going to be the infrared that really allows us to see what's going on in further detail. This is now in the black and white mode, so trying to refine that focus. This is IR0, so it's not quite color, but it's not quite infrared, so this is IR0. Again, panning around at this point, actually able to see quite a bit. Looking over to the far shoreline, up into the hillside, and all of the trees. Again, trying to get that focus dialed in. It is a little bit difficult, but not bad. Going now to the different IR modes. This is IR mode number 1. Surveying the shoreline across. You can now see the reflection in that bridge abutment. Trying to get everything tightened up in terms of the focus. Trying to maintain the same angle. IR2, 3. IR3 really starting to light things up here. Doing a wonderful job all the way across the shoreline. That is much easier to see. You can clearly see the current in the water. Doing a nice job there. All the way across that shoreline. The underside of the abutment, all the rocks, and the beams on the underside. This is very clear, and I would say a very crisp picture. Pretty nice. Again here in IR mode number 3, looking way out into the distance, trying to refine that focus. Let's take a look at the shoreline here. There you go, getting that focus dialed in. Panning around slowly. You can see a bit of a reflection. Let's play with the infrared modes. That's IR4, 3, 2, 1. and 0. Going back up to 3. That's pretty good. 4 is even better. Beaming out, I would say, a couple 100 feet here. It's a little bit washed out, not a lot of contrast, but I don't mind it. And I think if there was something out there, I would clearly be able to see. And of course, that is the key. Here you can see the current, and way out in the distance. That's pretty far out at that point. A few 100 feet away. This now 6 times digital zoom. So this unit does not have optical zoom. 6 times digital zoom. Way off in the distance. It is going to struggle and fall off after a while. But if there was something down there, I'm pretty sure I would be able to see it. So all in all, that's not too bad. I do like optical zoom whenever possible. Trying to dial in this focus. Again, a little bit difficult, but not too bad. But the fact is, having digital zoom, it at least allows you to zoom in for the user's experience. The user's experience and the footage are going to be completely different things. But that's giving you a pretty good indication of what's going on down there with those grasses in the water and a nice mirror image. One final set of imagery as we look down a wooded path, a big long path. At this point, this is the color mode, so you're literally seeing nothing. A single press now into the black and white mode. You can see cars pulling away from a parking lot, casting some light across. I'm trying to dial in the focus. Almost impossible, but you can make out some of the imagery off in the distance. A single press here. This is IR mode number 1. Not beaming off terribly far as we pan to the close distance here, the trees. Going to dial this in. You can now start to see the detail in the bark on the close trees about 50 feet away. But as we pan off in the distance, it definitely starts to fall off. Single press again. Infrared mode number 2. Refining that focus. That's probably closer to 80 feet away. You can see the path off in the distance here, but that's doing a pretty nice job. Going to pan up into the trees. You can certainly see what's going on there. It's not the clearest, but pretty good. Another press, infrared mode number 3. That's starting to beam off well into the distance. Again, trying to refine that focus and get it dialed in. Starting to see 100 plus feet away, 150 feet anyway. Infrared mode number 4. Really starting to light things up off in the distance. If there was wildlife or somebody out there, I would absolutely see it. No doubt in my mind. That's all the way to infrared 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and off. And so, alright guys, there you have it. A look at the Nightiger NV610. All in all, pretty good. I'm not going to say the best. Definitely not the worst. I've had some pretty bad units, and these are really pretty good. So all in all, I do have to say I enjoyed my user's experience. Again, keep in mind that user's experience is different than the recorded footage. The recorded footage, not too bad. Now you do get a little bit of loss of detail in the footage over distance. I feel like I was able to see better through the actual screen, but the screen is one of the first things. This is a fairly small screen, so you do really kind of need to bury your head into it and look at it pretty close up. But at the same time, I do like the binocular versions better than the monocular versions, simply from the standpoint that having two eyes staring at a screen, which is bright in the dark, is less damaging to your eyes than one eye looking in a bright screen and then your other eye being in the dark, and then you're completely disoriented. So I didn't find these to be disorienting at all. In fact, if anything, no problem. I was fairly happy with the overall mic quality. It did its job to help me provide the review. An overall reasonable zoom, but at that, it was only digital zoom. I'm not a huge fan of digital zoom. It gets pixelated, it gets interpolated. You do lose a lot of quality. It gets grainy. That's tough. I love optical zoom. And the other thing is the focus knob, very stiff on this particular unit, just real stiff. So it wasn't a smooth operation. It wasn't like a smooth user's experience as I was trying to get the focus dialed in, but it wasn't bad. And I do think over time, it will loosen up just a bit. All in all, though, pretty good. I do have to say these performed the way they needed to. Good, compact. That's another thing. Fairly compact given the quality. You can see here, not overly large. And again, these are only a 1080 unit, not 4K. But all in all, very good. And so again, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Nightiger who did provide these for review. For the rest of you, if you like this content, do me a favor. Take a look at my OUTER LIMITLESS 2 channel, which is more on the tactical and firearms side of things. At this point, that channel is growing quickly. I have a ton of videos up there. So if you like what you see here on OUTER LIMITLESS, do me a favor and check me out on OUTER LIMITLESS 2. So alright guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.